Hello everyone, it's me Varus, and in this video I'll be giving you a full US update, fall, winter, tropics, everything in this little video for you. If you do enjoy this video, please consider subscribing, liking, sharing with your friends, and let's get right into it. So, welcome back everybody. It's been kind of a while. I haven't posted in the past few days, but it's Monday, we're back. Couldn't post Friday, but I decided to shove that Friday stuff into this video. And yeah, I'm gonna have some special messages at the end of the video. And so, yeah, let's get right into it. So, starting out with the current National Weather Service and indices. So, if you saw the before map, that was for yesterday. Here's today's map. I did record the video yesterday, actually, but for some reason got deleted. So, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to get a better video in today because it's kind of crappy anyways. But here we are. Kind of the same. If we start from the north, we got freeze warnings, freeze watches. So freeze warnings in the dark indigo, freeze watches in the light cyan, and then more in the kind of moderate blue, we got these frost advisories. So colder air is on its way. We actually have a frontal boundary draping southward. Let's see if I can pull that up on the fly. I'll do it after this. And then we also have over here in Maine some outlooks, also probably some frost freeze, maybe some fire stuff. We can go check that out. And besides that, it's pretty quiet. Let's see what the special weather statement is holding. Elevated fire. So yeah, it's been really dry. However, we're expecting that to change. So if we do go to W Weather Prediction Center, gonna do this on the fly, and we can come back through here to surface analysis. I just want to show you guys where this front is. So this front in relation is right here. Okay, so this is the front. It's a pretty big front, from the northern panhandle of Texas all the way through into Canada. It is moving not that fast, but it is moving. I mean, at a pretty good clip. By the time it's Thursday, that's when it should be past the East Coast and major cities along the 95 corridor. And behind that, we're going to see some big time cooling temperatures. So if we actually already kind of zoom in to some of these temperatures, let's start with Springfield over here in Missouri. I'm pretty sure. Or we can start with, let's start with right here, this 83 you see in Illinois, okay? Just past the front, you have some rain and 58, okay? We can start with this 82 right here, kind of in between the Illinois and Iowa border. Go just a little bit west, and you got 60. So big difference. And this is going to continue to go with some mini lows riding it, which is going to continue to cause some light precipitation, fog, and that will continue through. And then high pressure builds behind it, which will help funnel in that colder air, which is doing behind this front through here. So that's some surface analysis, okay? We have, this is an Invest 95L, okay? This is a storm we're watching in the MDR, main development region of the Atlantic. Currently, the low is probably situated through here. Good outflow, good convection on the north side, south side a little weaker. It's moving generally west, maybe west-northwest just slightly, and it has its own little moisture pocket. However, we're not going to have to worry about this storm. Why? Because right now, we'll go back to the Pacific. It's expected to curve out to sea. Very high chance of curving out. It's going to continue trekking west-northwest, but then eventually make an abrupt turn. It could be sharper than this and miss Bermuda. Maybe it edges a little closer, or splits the uprights, you could say, through Bermuda and the U.S. Either way, we need to keep watch just in case, as impacts are still always possible, as outer bands could always impact. And then there's one other little system we're watching right here. We could watch this 10% 48 hours, 10% next 7 days. We'll go across the Yucatan. If it does still look kind of impressive, if it does slow down, we could watch development through here. Otherwise, we'll continue to drift westward into Mexico. I did say I was going to get back to the Eastern Pacific, and honestly, Eastern Pacific is pretty interesting. So let's start with Tropical Storm Octave. Currently just a tropical storm, except it's right now moving east, going to drape a little southeast, and then kind of pick back up east-northeast. These islands could watch out. Not sure what these are called, but could watch out. And if it does continue heading east-northeast, this is Baja California Sur, we're talking about. We're going to have to watch out for an impact possibly. Okay, or even Mexico, I'd say. Yeah, probably Mexico, because it's showing a dip this way and through here. So Mexico, maybe the southern tip of the southern Baja California could get into some outer bands. Another even more impactful storm, I'd say, is Hurricane Priscilla. Currently, a 85-mile-per-hour hurricane, just beelining the coast. I'll show you guys what it looks like on IR loop on the fly. Going to continue moving north-northwest. However, it's in close enough proximity where its tropical storm force winds are actually affecting portions of Mexico right now. That's why we got tropical storm watches, Baja California Sur as well. And then it will weaken to a storm, but could make a it will likely make a northwesterly turn or northeasterly turn and eventually impact Baja California Sur. It's probably a weak tropical storm, does weaken into a depression pretty quickly. If we take a look at how it looks, so this is Octave, very unimpressive. Recently had this flare up of convection, so we're going to keep watching that. Hurricane Priscilla, however, really big, really impressive, clear spin going on. You can even see I formation trying to take place. We can use blue right through there. You got very healthy outflow. This is like a really solid hurricane all throughout. No like real lopsided. Maybe some healthier outflow on the northwesterly side. But you can see it's really big, and you can see clouds getting well into Mexico and outer bands affecting Mexico as of right now. So it's going to continue to beeline, and we'll have to watch as it continues to bring direct impacts likely to the extreme coastlines of Mexico and eventually Baja California Sur. Behind that, we do have one more storm, or the thing we're watching. 10%, 48 hours, 70% in the next 7 days. Pretty good chance of forming. Gonna kind of follow Priscilla's sweep, but will be a little closer. I'd say maybe 20, 30, maybe like 40, 50, or 50 miles closer to the coast, maybe. We'll have to see if this also brings direct impacts. Okay, remember, this red could show it developing all the way along the coast as well, or way out back here. So we'll have to watch. We're generally almost following Priscilla's sweep, so we'll have to watch how it looks. So that's the Hurricane Center. Let's start in the Eastern Pacific, doing a lot of this stuff on the fly. 18Z just starting. We can go out through how far it goes. So it does actually show some Fujiwara effect, which is what Priscilla's going to kind of go a little more, try to get tugged by Octave further west, and Octave will try to get pulled further east. However, Octave is really weak compared to Priscilla, especially at this time frame, and so Priscilla should feel a little influence. But if we go back, you can see it tries Octave does get under, but by this time it's really weak, and maybe even combined with that other additional energy. But then you see Priscilla gets pretty strong. It does, that tug by Octave does try to keep it a little further away from Baja California Sur, still outer bands are possible, and then abruptly weakens. I mean, you can see how quick it does. GFS barely has it as anything making landfall, maybe not even a depression. And then behind that, you see that other hurricane that we might need to watch. The GFS has been consistent on it wiggling through east and then kind of making an abrupt, or west and making an abrupt turn north into landfalling into Baja California Sur. Sorry, I feel like I've said that so many times, Baja California Sur. But yeah, that's what we're watching. Atlantic. Okay, we'll go out for a little bit. There's your invest right there, 95L. Trekking west-northwest, and then as you can see, generally may go directly north for a bit. This right here is something different. This I'm going to talk about. Okay, this is a coastal low we're watching for the East Coast. Could be subtropical. We'll have to see. Besides that, nothing much. And then in the Gulf, you see some energy, but never really gets going. And then after that, we could see some Caribbean energy we'll have to watch out for. Okay, 18Z is also kind of running right now. So let's do 12Z October 6th. So let's run this through. So here's the coastal storm. So there's lots of agreement on all models. GFS, Euro, CMC, Icon. Okay. There is a front. That front currently over here in the Midwest is going to drape south. It will clear possibly all the way down to the southeast coast where there's some tropical moisture. That should form a little low. Okay, this is by Friday. You'll see a little low pop off right there. 2 a.m. Saturday morning. Okay, so midnight, overnight, Friday night into Saturday, you get a low. This would be a 1,007 millibar low. Now it could, right now it's looking like it would be an asymmetric warm core, which would be characteristic of subtropical, so some tropical characteristics, some just coastal. But either way, you kind of see another low try to form, and overall, it kind of gets retrograded back. You see lots of heavy rain, packed isobars, so wind, rain, everything could be flooding threat. It's been a while since we've had rain, and it kind of lingers here because we have a blocking high up here, which is really pretty strong, and is kind of trapping this low beneath it. And you see it kind of go down. It almost tries to recycle before getting swept off by this trough, which is way out, 318 hours. But man, I like to see that 540 line that south. But yeah, we're watching this coastal storm. I can show one more model. We can show the Euro. Same thing, okay? It gets all the way down to not. It won't be awfully strong. I mean, it will. I mean, it's gonna still cause impact. See, 990. This Euro run wants to bring it even further south and just impact the coast. So there's still, as you can see, variation. We can run CMC just for the fun of it, and Canadian takes it all the way out. But the general idea is it's there, okay? We can show icon as well. This only goes a certain time out. We can go back to 12Z, just back it up a bit. On the 12Z, it brought it a little further north than most models. So that we're watching, okay? GFS temperatures, what are we looking at for the temperatures? We'll just see the forecast. So big time ridge, negative PNA currently in place. This is that cool front we're gonna see. It's really transient though. It doesn't last long. This coastal low could cause some implications. You still see that strong negative PNA holding in the west, and that's what's gonna continue. Even if you have these transient blasts, it's gonna overall stay warm. Okay, now you do see some sort of change. You see some warmer conditions trying to get onto the extreme western coast. And this is getting far out, but this is when you could see a pattern change. You see positive PNA takes over, forcing colder air to dump into the east, and you got this beautiful cool blast. This is really far out, but we'll have to watch, and there's signs of consistent pattern change coming up mid-month in October. Fall foliage, okay, for the fun of it. I haven't done this in a while. You guys can go onto this website as well, Explore Fall. Making good progress, okay? Low color, especially in the east, kind of accelerating faster because we've been in such drought conditions. As we continue through mid-October, these conditions continue to get faster. We reach peak for most of the mid-central U.S., portions of the Northeast, a little gap between St. Louis and like Louisville in Kentucky. But overall, by November, most areas at peak and past peak, and then by November 30th, it's past peak everywhere. But Miami doesn't even have color. But just wanted to show you guys a progression in where we are right now. Is what it's looking like right here. Many areas in the mountains already past peak. So let's talk about some winter stuff. I did say I was gonna do winter forecast. However, there's been some changes I want to address, which I'm gonna do that in this video, and then I'll likely post a winter forecast. I was gonna save this for the end of the video, but might as well just say it now. Probably sometime mid-October. I'm not planning to post that anytime through this coming weekend. So let's talk about Enzo. So there's three spots: Enzo, PDO, some cooling off the eastern U.S. Enzo right now kind of been variable. Some warm spotches, blue spotches. It's been kind of staying the same. So we're gonna keep watching, but I do expect it to dip further into La Nina by November before it starts to subtly increase back up towards neutral, cool neutral, weak La Nina. It looks probable at this point for the winter. That's expected. Now something here. Remember I was talking about a warm blob here? Remember, if you have a warm blob, encourages ridging, could cause a negative EPL, cooler air into the eastern U.S. However, we've seen cooling in this region. This is the region. Past 7-day change, you've seen cooling all throughout this area, the PDO area. This is concerning if you're a winter weather plan in the east, or good if you're not. Okay, vice versa, same for the west. So, if it's in the west, you would like to see this as a winter weather lover. So, this is why you got this cooling, right? This would encourage more troughing. Okay, if you had a trough here, you could have a trough kind of like that, and then you have a ridge. Okay, that sucks in warmer air from really the eastern 2/3. I mean, this would barely benefit the west for cooler air, except for like Pacific Northwest. But that's what we're watching. If it continues to cool like this, which it could, I don't know if it will, but it definitely could. I can see it going both ways. Then we're gonna have to watch it. This would make major implications on the winter forecast for the eastern U.S. Another area is along the coast. Okay, this coastline we're also watching. It was cooler than average. Okay. Now it is starting to warm just a bit. Okay, you see a couple warm. I'm going to show you on the present temperature maps, and you'll see all these changes. And so I'm watching this because if it stays cooler, that means like if we ever had like an inland winter storm, just slightly inland, the cooler, if we like had a snow to rain event, if it was cooler along the coast than average, it would cause marine air to override the snow or cold layer slower and would cause a slower transition to snow. That's one thing. If it's cooler, it's also if you have nor'easters, doesn't have as much energy to work out, can't really bomb out as much. Okay, could also but that it depends on varying scenarios. And in the past few years, we've seen it warmer, so I wouldn't be surprised if it does get warm again. Same with this PDO, but just something we're watching. So if we go to current analysis, you can see we have a La Nina for sure. You can see it. Not anything impressive, but it's definitely La Nina. Here's that cooler temperature starting to erode that warm blob. Still warm temperature surrounding all around it, just through here. But we'll have to watch it as it continues to attempt to expand and cause that positive PDO to negative PDO. Here's the East Coast. You still got this little cool slug, but before, like, all of this was cooler. Or, yeah, mostly all that was cooler. So now, with some warming and just that almost the Gulf Stream just being a little cooler, it's something we're gonna have to watch out for sure. So that's about it. One more thing is the snowpack. Okay, snowpack also plays a big part. Now for winter weather lovers, I will say the snowpack is very impressive. If we just progress through, you can see all the way through. It is really impressive. You see lots of Siberian snow, snow getting into the U.S. Okay. Right here, this is your snowpack, okay, right through here, and it's very impressive. That will cause the polar vortex to get strong at points, but it will overall just build colder air, start forcing colder air down. And if the polar vortex ever does get weak and wavy, it would cause those Arctic intrusions to be even more impressive for the east, possibly the west, central U.S., in those areas. So we're going to keep monitoring this in the coming videos. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Just wanted to get a quick one out, or this packed with all the information that we're looking at right now and the main highlights. It's going to be a fun few weeks of weather as we transition really into those colder temperatures that fall, that winter, and it'll be interesting to see what's upcoming next. Hope you had a great day. Hope you had a good time watching the video, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a great